we start that again, where I actually have voice rather than just doing it in silence? Because I do like to do it muted. Your TV, you generally don't get many people who just talk completely muted. Mr. Harris is his specialty. What I like to do is talk to you completely muted so that you can't hear the nonsense I'm talking about. It is Monday morning. The sun is trying to shine, and we are here to talk about factor spiders. We have 4 lessons this week, 2 primary, today and tomorrow, and 2 transition, year 5 to 9, today and tomorrow. And then I'm going to be having a few days off because I'm doing a baby. So my wife is being induced, which means we're going to hospital, and I'm going to sit in the car park for about 3 days. And hopefully the baby will be on its way, and then next week when I join you, I will be a dad. So let's get ready to start learning about factor spiders. Thank you for joining me again. I will say some good mornings once you all start your starter. So the starter activity today is that you have 5 items. Animals, cars, trees, internet and fire. You have to decide in order of importance where the first is I could not live without that thing, and where the last of those items is it's going to go from your life forever. What order would you put these things in? Can you justify them? Give it some thought. Write down the order you would put these things in I think this is the most important thing in my life, and this is the least important thing in my life. While you're doing that, I'm going to say some good mornings. I've got lots of people in the live chat, so I shall speak to them all. Good morning, Ellis. Good morning, Lily. What is popping indeed? Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, Josh. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Iona. Good morning, Sharanya. Good morning, Stanley, who is watching. Hello, Stanley. Hello, Stanley. Stanley's saying lots of hellos to me this morning. Good morning to anyone else I've got here. Good morning, Caroline Begley, who's telling me about the sound. I do apologise about being muted. I do apologise. I do my best, but unfortunately, I forget sometimes. I've fixed it as soon as I could. Good morning, Alexandra and Kira. Good morning, Adeline. Good morning, Nikki. Good morning, everyone else. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm sneezing. So how are you getting on with the ranking? I haven't seen anyone's rankings yet, so I'm assuming you're trying to do the ranking. Car for the least important. Patrick would get rid of cars from his life. Excellent. I think I would. I think if I could, I'd like to survive on probably just a hovercraft. I'd like to just have a hovercraft. No, I'd like to cycle more. I really would. I think it's very good for the environment and things. Internet is the most important thing for Vera, whereas trees and plants are giving you oxygen. So, I forget. It's Charlie. When you're writing Charlie, just write Charlie first, so I know who's saying it. Anyone who's not the actual name of their thing, I just need... Tom and Tilly are tuned in. Tom and Tilly, what do you think? What's your most important thing? What's your least important thing? Let me know in the chat. So, while people are doing that, you can also do that after the event. If you're joining this lesson and it's not live for you, feel free to put it in the comments below the video. I'd love to see what people think. What's their most important? What's their least important? Ranking. Why do I do these starters? It's because I want you to think, and that's why I do these lessons. And sometimes if we just listen, we're not actually forcing our brains to wake up and think. I like the idea that people will be thinking and weighing up and comparing. It's an important life skill. So, we're talking about factor spiders. I won't keep that funny spider on the screen for too long. I know some people don't like them. Today is May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. It's a happy Star Wars Day to everyone. May the 4th be ever in your favour. I'm going to leave it at that. So, Mr. Harris is coming back. Is he on the screen? We don't know. We find out in 8 seconds' time. So I just sort of waffle and chat to you and then hope that I'm going to appear on the screen to my right. And I'm over to the right-hand side today, which often means I've done a number side, because that's where I am over on the number side. And I have to move it back, but I'm back. I get to... You know not many live TV programmes where the person just magically moves across the screen. But that's what makes me different. So, factor spiders. Factor spiders aren't things. Let's be honest with ourselves. No one in your exams is going to say to you, draw the factor spider. Factor spiders is something Mr. Harris does to help us learn factors, basically. I think finding the factors of things, traditionally, especially my year 9s and 10s actually, they sometimes forget some because they don't have a structure to it. They just do it higgledy-piggledy and random. Let me show you what I mean. Let's a reminder, first of all, a factor is a number that goes into a number. So if you look at number 20 here, I want to find all the factors of 20. 1 goes into 20. So I've started off by putting a 1 on the screen. And I then thought, so does 10. 10 goes into 20 as well. And what else goes into 20? 5. 5, 10, 15, 20. So 5 goes inside 20. We're looking for any number that, like, if you do that times table, like 10 times table, you get to 20. To 10, 20. It's in there. The next one, 4. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So it is there. We've got 2. That's not 2, that's 20. 20 goes into 20 because there's one of them there. And finally, 2. But the problem I have with this, you see, is that was kind of random. And if I was doing a bigger number than 20, 20 is quite a small number. But if I was doing a bigger number, say 150, it would be too easy to miss them. That's why I use factor spiders, because factor spiders, you don't miss them if you're careful. It's a logical way of doing it. That's why I've called it a better system. What we do is we draw a spider. Now, bees be aware, factor spiders aren't like normal spiders. Normal spiders always have 8 legs, unless they've had one fall off. They always have 8 legs, but our factor spiders can have a variety of number of legs depending on the factors. But what you do is you always start with 1. On the left-hand side, you write down 1. And on the right-hand side, you write down what do you times by 1 to make 20. So 1 times 20 is 20. Therefore, I start with 1 and 20. Don't do any others. Do it in order. Because what you then do is you go, what's the next number after 1? Next number after 1 is 2. Does it go into 20? Yes, it does. So let's do 2 and 10. Because it comes after 1 and 20, 2 and 10. And the same, we try 3. But 3 doesn't go into 20. So we can't put 3. So we then try 4. 4 times 5. So that goes on to the next one. You do it in order, always keeping track of them on both sides of the thing. The 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5. These all make 20. And because now we've got to 5, we look on the other side, we've already got to 5. If you get to a number you've already done, you know you've finished. We've found all the factors. Now, one thing I can therefore do is, once I've done all the factors, I can do this with multiple different things. So if we come over to my screen over here, and we're doing factor spiders, I would like someone in the chat to choose a number they would like me to find the factors of. So I've got a chance of going wrong here because you just don't know what number someone's going to choose. Who's going to get to the number first? So what we're going to have left? 7. Jules would like me to do 7. I will do 7. The reason 7's an interesting number is it's called a prime number. So therefore, it only has 2 legs. 1 times 7. 2 doesn't go in, 3 doesn't go in, 4 doesn't go in, 5 doesn't go in, 6 doesn't go in. So it's kind of it's like a water boatman, this one. 7 prime numbers will only have 2 factors. And so if it's got 2 factors, it means it's prime. But I like that number. Anyone got any other things? Oh, we've got loads of numbers flying in to me. 81 came in from Alicia. So we'll do 81 next. 81. We draw the body of our spider. We start off with the legs at the top. Always 1 times 81. 2 doesn't go in, but 3 times 27 does make 81. You have to count 3 times table a long way, and I'll talk to you a little bit about how we can do that shortly. 4 doesn't, 5 doesn't, 6 doesn't, 9 does, but it's 9 times 9, so I'm just going to put one thing there, and we'll talk more about that shortly as well. I'm going to do one more of all the ones I can see. Sorry, I know lots of people are suggesting numbers here. I'm not trying to ignore people. I'm just trying to go down the list. It's very difficult to try and help everyone. Lily, 37 is a lovely number, but I'm going to leave it now because it's another prime one, so it would just be 1 and 37. And I'm going to move on to Eddie's 48 because I'm using 25 in the homework. So I'm going to move on to Eddie's 48. And 48 is a nice one because if we draw the body of our spider, you can draw eyes if you want, and it's 1 times 48. Notice I always do it in the same order. Try 2 next. 2 times 24. Try 3 next. 3 times 16. Try 4. 4 times 12. Try 5, no. Try 6 times 8. And we have this weird, 7 doesn't, so 8 is 8 means we're up there. And I'm going to make a little smiley face to show that I finished. So this is the 48 factor spider. It has 10 factors. So we can hopefully all see that these are the factor spiders. Now, if you want to check numbers, I'm not going to do this for everything, but I will talk briefly about the 2 times table, the 3 times table, the 4 times table, the 6 times table, and the 9 times table. If you want to check it's in the 2 times table, it's an even number. If you want to check it's in the 4 times table, halve it, and it will be even. For example, 64, if you halve it, you get 32. That's even, so 64 must be in the 4 times table. 3 times table, add the digits. What I mean is, if you've got the number 215, 2 plus 1 plus 5 makes 8. 8 is not in the 3 times table, so this is not in the 3 times table. If it was in the 3 times table, it would add to a number in the 3 times table. Let me show you an example that does work. 414. 4 plus 1 plus 4 is 9. 9 is in the 3 times table, so this one is in the 3 times table. If you add the digits together and that number's in the 3 times table, then it is in the 3 times table. So it's a good way of checking. 6 times table, it's the same as the 3s. So just like the 3s, and it will also be even. It's got to be in the 3 times table and be even. And the 9 is add the digits again, but this time the digits, it has to be in the 9 times table rather than the 3 times table. So the 3 times table, add the digits and the answer will have to be in the 3 times table. 9, add the digits and the answer will be in the 9 times table. Let me give you one example to show you what I mean. 711. 711 is 7 plus 1 plus 1 equals 9. That is in the 9 times table, so 711 is in the 9 times table. In fact, I can tell you that 63 is 7 plus 81, so it'd be 79. It's actually 79 times 9. So there you go. Okay, so we're drawing factor spiders, and I've given you a few. These are called divisibility facts. A few facts to help us know whether something is divisible by something or not. Hopefully that makes some sense to people. I'm just scrolling down in the chat just in case anyone's asked me any questions. No worries for being late. That'll be Josh and someone else. Sophie, maybe? I'm sorry if it isn't Sophie. I'm trying to remember, but it's very difficult. I do try. So an example for the 6. That's the sort of questions I like. People ask me, can I do an example for the 6? That's an awesome question. So the 6 times table. Let's check 84. 84. 8 plus 4 is 12. We want to know if that's in the 12 is in the 6 times table, is in the 3 times table, and also 84 is even. So it needs to be even and in the 3 times table. So this one is. So it is in. I'm not going to use an equals because we don't like that. In the 6 times table. And we could have done that with really big numbers as well. Just to check, it needs to add up to be in the 3 times table and then be even. And some people would say to me, but what? Why was it not in the 6 times table? Well, because hopefully you all realise if I'd have chosen 12, that everyone knows that is in the 6 times table. But 1 add 2 is 3. So you can't check it's in the 6 times table. It has to be in the 3 times table when you add the digits, but also be an even number. And this one is. So this one would be as well. Okay, that's how that one works. Oh, excellent. I was right with Sophie. Owen, you asked me an example for the 6s. I hope that example for the 6s is useful. Okay. And hopefully you can go away and practice that with all those different facts, and they will always work, because I wouldn't lie to you, because I'm nice. So, let's come back to the studio where we can look at me for a second. So what we've talked about there is making factor spiders. Now, I would trust you to draw the circles yourself and add the right number of lines, for the number of factors there are. Remember to do it in order. I get so, not angry, because I don't ever get angry, but I get so puzzled when I see people in my class and they jump still. After I've said this, they're still going, I'll do it in my own order. I don't need to listen to Mr. Harris. I'll do 3 times table and then the 9 times. Go down the list, 1 then 2. Order and structure makes you a better mathematician. It makes you do things. Math is creative. I love being creative, but do it in a logical order and you've got more chance of getting them right. Now, this is a square factor spider. There's a special species of factor spider called a square factor spider. And every now and again, you'll come across a square factor spider. Now, the thing that tells you that there's a square factor spider is the fact that it's got a tail. Huh? If I look at the factors here, the factors of 16 are 1 and 16, 2 and 8, but also 4 on its own. 4 because it's 4 times 4, and you're not going to write it twice, so it's just like a tail. Square factor spiders have tails. Here's a question for you. Feel free to answer the question in the comments, not in the live chat, but in the comments below the video. Can you work out and explain to our viewers why 16 has an odd number of factors? Why does it have this spare factor? Why has it got a tail? Explain why, and maybe suggest some other ones that will also have tails. Can you spot why? Just going to leave it out there. Don't put it in the live chat now, but if afterwards you want to put it in the comments below, people would love to see what you're commenting and let you know, and I'll obviously reply to people's comments anytime they comment on any of my videos. So, we've got now factor spiders and we've got square factor spiders. Let me re-emphasise. They're not things. They're not things that are in the math syllabus. They're not things like, oh, you need to know how to do factor spiders. Factors are the things you need to know. Factor spiders are my way of making sure that you find them all. It's a structure, not a maths thing. I use the spiders to help you because the things you need to know is what a factor is. You need to know a factor is a number that goes inside another number. That is something that people often get confused on. So if you can remember that that's what factors are, this is why the factor spiders help. Because you imagine if I said to you, find all the factors of 3,000. You need a method to make sure you don't miss some. And that's what factor spiders do. So, these two factor spiders, we've already met 20, so I'll quickly do all those. They were the spiders of 20. And, 30 started doing himself as well. Well, what do 30 and 1 and those have in common? Well, 1 and 30, 2 and 15. You'll see 30 is a bit more like a normal spider in that it has 8 legs rather than 6, like 20 has. And 5 and 6. Notice 4 doesn't go in because it would need to be 4 times 7.5, and we only want whole numbers. Okay. I'm not sure if I may have written pyjamas wrong. I do apologise if I did. I didn't. I don't know. Maybe there's multiple ways of spelling my pyjamas. Anyway, correcting the spelling on my jokes. So I want you to spot and look at these two, and we've done spot the difference before. What do they have in common? Well, I think they both have 1, and they both have 2, and they both have 5, and they both have 10. What this means is we would call 1, 2, 5, and 10 common factors of 20 and 30 because they are the numbers that both are factors of both of them. 1 is a factor of both 20 and 30, 2 is a factor of both 20 and 30, 5 is a factor of both 20 and 30, and 10 is a factor of both 20 and 30. So they are common factors. In fact, I would even describe 10 as the highest common factor, because out of the 4 common factors, 10 is the highest one. That's why they are the common factors. Okay? And you're right, PJs has probably been better, and then no one would be arguing with me. 1, 2, 5 and 10 are the common factors. 10 is the highest common factor. There's going to be some things in the worksheet, homework worksheet, that I want you to all try. Now, I've noticed recently, you saw in the video before a gallery of some of the work I got last week. I didn't get as much work as I would have hoped for. Now, I know I disappeared for a couple of days because I had to go to hospital and things. So please do send me pictures of your work in. I love to see them. I love to see the work that you've all been doing at home. I love to see all the excellent stuff. So please do send it in, and I will try and feature it in the gallery just prior to the video. So a couple of people asked what it was, and Patrick very helpfully explained to people. About 2 minutes before the video started properly, I changed the screen so it could show some people's work and kept the timer on there. But we had a little gallery of some of the things that I got sent last week. Some of the people doing the Taskmaster Challenge and some of the people doing the ratio work from last week. Feel free to do that. Maybe send pictures of you trying the attack defend game. I haven't had many emails saying whether people played the attack defend game, whether they enjoyed it, whether it worked for them, or who won. Things like that. I love to hear those sorts of things. Let me know. Okay? Use the comments, all the different normal channels. So, that today has been factors, factor spiders, common factors, and I even briefly mentioned highest common factor, which is a year 8 topic. At the end, I didn't go spend ages on it, but I did briefly at the end say about that. So if you're trying to find common factors, what you need to do is you need to do the factors of one and the factors of the other one, and then circle, or highlighter is a very good one for those, circle the ones that they've got in common, and then you'll be able to say what the common factors are. Well, I challenge you, therefore, to go away and complete the Factor Spider worksheet. It's in the description below. Or if you're on Facebook, I linked to it as well. I'm trying to do that with all the videos. Put the link to the resource and a link to the video so you can find it nice and straightforward. There's also a new Taskmaster Challenge this week. I want to see you can either draw, make, or paint the best picture of Mr. Harris you can. You've got lots of pictures of Mr. Harris because you've got videos you can pause at any moment of Mad Mr. Harris. I'd love to see your pictures of Mr. Harris. I will probably put them on the Facebook group and share them with people, and I might even make if there's a brilliant one, I might even make it my profile for a few days. So yeah, that's the Taskmaster Challenge for this week. Now I'm aware some people who've already downloaded the Spider worksheet will be like, but Mr. Harris, there's numbers missing. You can't. It's not. What's going on? What's going on? Well, I thought of that. There they are. If you want to pause this while you're doing the worksheet, these are the numbers. You can write them down as well. These are the numbers you need for the worksheet. Why am I doing this? Well, it's because some people like to try and do the worksheet early, and then they don't really listen to the video because they've done all the worksheet, and then they spend all their time talking about pyjamas. Reese, I don't like it when people say "shut up, please." So if we can be, I have absolutely fine with people saying, "Can we leave the pyjamas conversation?" It's entirely up to them, but it's okay to spot errors I've made. It's absolutely fine. We only learn by doing things. Okay. But I don't particularly like it when people say "shut up." All right. So anyway, let's move on. And thank you very much for listening to the lesson today. I hope you've learned something. I have enjoyed teaching you again today. I hope if you did enjoy it, you will consider leaving a like. If you did enjoy it, you'll consider subscribing if you don't already. If you did enjoy it, you'll persuade your parents to share the links I've got on Facebook with their friends, their family, the other people from your schools. Because the more people are doing the lessons, the more feedback I'll get, the more pictures of me I'll get, which is obviously nice. But I thrive on the number of people interacting with me, sending me things, asking me questions. I want to help as many of you as possible. If you enjoyed it, consider doing that. Thank you so much for joining the lesson today. I've been Mr. Harris. You haven't. Speak to you soon.